know knows the answer. Not one of them can answer yes, John, because nobody's ever ready. We're at the fucking Spanish Inquisition. It's a Rage Select podcast. When does it get posted? 8 p.m., midnight, forever? I don't know. And then just like Santa Claus coming down the chimney, there's a Rage Select podcast just ready for you to listen to. And that's this podcast that you're listening to right now. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
That none of that made sense. I don't think.
No. All of it made sense.
It all made sense.
It actually answered quite a few questions.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah.
Tune in next season.
Welcome to the Rage Select podcast. Right here on Rage Select. You already went over who we are. Yeah, and we have a slam bang show for you this week. You know, John, you remember when we tried to experiment with the much shorter compressed podcast?
That never worked.
Well, it worked. It was really fast. There was just no time to really spread out. And you know, the people that like the podcast, I don't know. No, people didn't really seem to like it, so we switched back. Right. Like New Coke. But this week I feel like we might have a compressed podcast just because there's not a lot. There's not really a whole hell of a lot to talk about. In fact, I can say that what the fuck did I do this weekend? Nothing. I don't think I did shit. I just laid around, and this week I just played Metal Gear. I meant to go see Black Panther. I didn't do that. I ate at Taco Bell one time. It was unsatisfying. But you saw Black Panther.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I also saw a movie called My Mom's a Werewolf, but I'm sure you don't want to know about that.
No. Let's stick with the new stuff that makes for a very nice thumbnail and not the what the fuck is that? I'm not clicking on that podcast. It looks like garbage. Okay. Out of 5, My Mom's a Werewolf. What do you got?
It's probably a 4.
A 4?
Yeah.
On par.
I mean, it's bad. It's on 4, but with an annotation of this movie is terrible, but in all the right ways.
Okay.
So
compare it to something that I would have seen.
Yeah, it probably should be on MST3K.
Okay.
But it's got John Saxon in it.
Oh, well.
He plays a werewolf.
But wait, the name of the movie is My Mom's a Werewolf.
Yeah, he's the guy who turns the mom into a werewolf.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, it's not on Netflix?
No. I bought a box set that had 200 movies in it. And
well, that just doesn't sound like a very good idea.
And
how much do these 200 movies cost you?
$30.
Oh, man. Okay. Maybe.
And I've only watched 2 movies so far, and I feel like it's well paid for itself already.
Okay. Does it have Eraser or My Blue Heaven? Or
No, nothing like that.
Are we talking about way down
funny, looking over the list,
yeah,
a good number of these have actually appeared on MST3K.
Okay.
So
does it have Space Mutiny? Non-commentary Space Mutiny?
I don't think so.
Oh, man.
I know it's got Manos, though.
Okay.
And I Accuse My Parents and Teenagers from Outer Space. And,
okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, I've been going on Twitter and Facebook saying someone pick a random number between 1 and 50 and then give me a second number between 1 and 4. Mm-hmm. And then when someone responds, I then go look for the disc that's at, because they're 50 discs and there's 4 movies per disc.
Right.
They're not great quality. Mm-hmm. But I go to the first number, and then whatever, and I just watch that, whatever it is. We've only watched 2 movies so far.
You let the internet pick your movies for you?
Well, I got 200.
Okay.
And I don't want to watch them in any order. I just want to watch 200 movies.
Okay, fair enough. Well,
it's a surprise.
I tell you what, that sounds like a real masochistic endeavor that you got going on there, John.
Hey, I've enjoyed the 2 movies I've watched so far. So.
Yeah, you and Amanda have a much greater love for bad movies than I think that I do.
But Black Panther.
But yeah, let's talk about Black Panther for 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so I have not seen it yet. We're
no spoilers.
Spoiler-free here. Give me the rundown.
It's good. I liked it.
Okay.
It's more Shakespearean than you would.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, it's more Shakespearean than you would think, your typical Marvel movie.
That's because you've got kings and family betrayals and things like that.
Yeah, totally. It's all the cast. It's fucking awesome. Every character is likable on screen. Every single character is exactly how you would want them to be on the screen.
Okay.
I do feel like there may be some timing issues toward the end.
Okay.
And by that I mean it kind of seems like it's going along at a good pace. It never feels like it's taking too long. Mm-hmm. But then there's a certain point where it kind of feels like they're okay, we got to get to the point, and they just kind of push
and then
through.
like fast forwards.
Yeah, like it just stuff starts happening real in quick succession.
Is it as bad as the end of Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
No.
Okay, nothing can ever be as bad as the end of Star Trek.
But no, but it's never bad or anything like that. Like I enjoyed that movie all the way through.
Okay.
Like I
Let me ask you some questions.
Sure.
Was it over 2 hours? Was it 2.5-hour?
I don't remember.
Okay,
I'm going to be honest.
So
I don't remember.
I'll look it up. And then the other thing is that I feel like the would you say that kind of the Shakespearean kind of that kind of staging and that kind of story is what differentiates it a lot from the other Marvel movies? Because these days there's so many goddamn Marvel movies that my question is always like, what's different about this one? What makes this one different than, because like Spider-Man Homecoming was just like mini Avengers, Avengers with a teenager, right? Like it wasn't different enough to catch my attention, so I just kind of glossed over. Like Guardians 2, too close to Guardians 1, I kind of just glossed over that. So I'm kind of curious to know, what about Black Panther because it seems like Wakanda could be a very different, more like a Thor kind of a kingdom lineage heritage kind of story as opposed to
yeah. I mean, it's definitely got that, and it's definitely got a lot of really cool history to it.
Okay.
And it's also kind of interesting how that history ties into the history of the world and also of Africa and colonization and things like that.
Okay.
So it definitely does have a different feel than I do most Marvel movies do. Like it's a welcomed it's a welcome difference.
Okay. This is like 2 hours and 15 minutes approximately.
I mean, it is like I said, it is still a Marvel movie, and there are still a few Marvel-isms about it that are consistent across all of the movies, like even in Guardians of the Galaxy and things like that. Like there's still some jokes here and there. And
yeah, I was just going to ask you about, is it that same humor? Because I was talking about that, was it with you or was it with Amanda, how they all kind of have a similar Tony Starkish humor style?
I don't think it's that.
Okay.
I do think it's interesting enough because I was reading a thing the other day that said that the director, because weren't really feeling the jokes that they had in the script before they started filming.
Right.
So he actually contacted Donald Glover to help punch up the jokes.
Okay.
So they're and there's some really good jokes in there. Like I don't feel like they're any out of place, and it's not like, oh, everyone's everyone's Tony Stark, quick wit,
quip. Yeah.
But I think it's more funny situation and reactions to funny situations.
Okay.
And yeah, there are some quips, but not really.
Okay.
Like I also feel like this has the best villain of a Marvel movie.
Really?
I'm going to say that because that's actually been a criticism for a lot of Marvel movies, is that the villains kind of suck.
What's interesting is that I feel like that was a criticism, but as they've moved on, I feel like they've gotten a lot better. Like Vulture was probably my favorite part of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Hela in Thor was, I
still haven't seen Thor Ragnarok.
Fantastic.
So I can't
Yeah. And even Ego in Guardians 2 was kind of
fleshed. You kind of understood where he was coming from.
Better than Ronan the Accuser, right? Better than just
this one. Like you kind of, what I like about this is with the villain of Black Panther, you kind of understand exactly where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Like
I've heard a lot of that.
Like
a relatable villain.
Yeah, it. Like I feel like they were with Civil War. They were trying with whatever the fuck is the villain was of that movie. I can't remember his name. If it was Zemo or Strucker.
Baron Zemo.
Zemo.
Yeah.
If it
Baron
they
Zemo.
wanted you to kind of feel for him because he was doing it as revenge for his
for Sokovia.
Kids, his family getting killed in Sokovia, and they kind of wanted you to feel for him, but they never really, because they didn't really spend any time with him, you never got that.
Yeah, they spent so much time with Tony and Cap that he might as well have been, a program that Arnim Zola had running in the background.
Here, it's similar situation. Like it is totally a revenge thing, but you totally get it.
Okay,
you actually he's going about it in a way that makes him a villain.
Yeah,
but it's very much like, I totally
understandable.
Understand, like even to the point of that the main character, he's right about things, but he may not. But he's also wrong about things.
Okay,
he's not like it's a lot of gray.
Okay.
Is the thing I want to say. There's a lot of gray in this film, especially with political stuff.
Sounds good.
And it's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Now here's the $1 million question. You know, I feel like back in the old days, the spill rating system just kind of turned into a 5-point system.
Yeah.
With titles, but like, okay, Black Panther, do I need to go see it in the theater? Is it something? Does it have enough spectacle that I must make an effort to go see it in the theater, or is it okay to just kind of wait for it to come on to home video?
So, I would say, in my opinion, yes.
Okay.
But that's also, I'm the type of person that loves going to the cinema.
Right.
So,
of course, you called it the cinema.
Like, I like going to the theater. I like going to the movies. I like the theater experience. And I'm not even talking about Draft House. Draft House can go fuck itself.
Right.
I'm talking about going to your local Cinemark theater, your local Tinseltown. Cinemark's not the same thing.
Right.
Your local
AMC.
whatever AMC.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about like the nice fancy chairs that they got now that recline and leather seating. Fuck all that noise. Regular, uncomfortable, goddamn seats, no frills.
Yeah.
Going to the movies. I fucking love that shit.
Strange man, John.
You know, I feel like yes, it is. In that regards, yeah, it is probably more so than most Marvel movies.
Okay.
Like there's only a few movies Marvel-wise that I feel like that you have to have gone to see that in the theater because it's a different experience.
Again, I'm so sad that you and I'm going to go buy you the Blu-ray of Thor because I
actually plan to buy it.
I want to talk with people about it. Well, it's out now. I want to talk with people about it.
Is it? I thought it didn't come out until next week.
No, it's
on Blu-ray.
Oh, it may not be out on Blu-ray. Do they still? I know
they
it's
still
on
do
streaming.
They do the thing where it's available to buy digitally.
Can I gift a PlayStation rental to you? So, here, watch it. I want to talk with somebody about it because, like, goddamn, that I love that movie so much.
Yeah, but it's. But it's I liked it. I think it is totally worth going to see in the theaters.
Excellent.
I know. I know the 5-point rating point system has always been like garbage because how do you then have to classify why one thing got a 4 and another thing got a 3.
Well, no. For my money, what I was saying was I actually kind of liked back in the Spill days the idea of you got to go see it in the theater versus wait for it on a rental versus that.
Well, it's like when I was doing Geek Bombast, we didn't have a point system. It was either seal of approval, which meant whatever it was perfect and you needed to have it right now.
Right.
And if you don't have it, you're losing out on life.
Yeah.
Buy it, which means go buy it.
Yeah.
Borrow it, which is rent it, borrow it from a friend, whatever. Find a way to see it, but you maybe don't need to spend money on it.
Yeah.
Burn it.
Yeah.
Which is just like, nah, fuck this noise.
Right.
Or no, it was bargain bin it, which is wait till it's like really fucking cheap.
Yeah.
And then burn it, which is like, don't even fucking waste your time with it. Like we had like the 5 Bs, or the 4 Bs in the seal of approval. But, yeah.
Well, it sounds good. I have to go try to see it. Because I wanted to go see it last weekend, but like it's like it's Saturday night at like 7 p.m. I was like, let's go see if I can find some seats for this.
It was
like
crazy.
No,
like, we went on a Sunday.
Yeah,
kind of early in the afternoon, and there were lines. Like there was like lines at the theater that we went to. We went to the Galaxy Highland here in town, and like there was just fucking lines, and like we were like worried that we weren't going to get in. And luckily they had 2 showings going, and they're like, no, this one's not sold out yet, so you can go to this one. And we got to go in, and then we came out like after the movie. There's still lines, like just all day lines.
See, for me, it's funny because there's no movie that's good enough for me to stand in a line. Yeah. Like I would see a line and just be like, nah, it's all right. I'll come back another day. But anyway, but that's because I'm lazy and I like to watch stuff at home.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that you can watch at home, we got a trailer for Lost in Space coming to Netflix, which,
I mean, it doesn't look bad. I mean, it's also not really showing much.
Yeah,
but
all it shows is the costumes that the characters have,
yeah,
and kind of the ship. But it looks like there's enough production value, and I don't really know how Netflix is doing this, but it seems like they keep shoving a shitload of money into stuff. Maybe they're finding projects that are half done and then just being like, well, we'll pay for the rest of those. But like, the outfits that the characters here are wearing they look real nice. I think that Lost in Space is a great concept, you
Yeah.
know, especially as a week to week, because, you know, they are lost. They're in space. You've got
Also, I know people generally hated it. I didn't hate the movie as much as everybody else. I don't think it was that great, but I didn't think it was terrible.
with Heather Graham and Matt LeBlanc
Yeah.
and who was the dad? It was William Hurt.
Yeah, William Hurt.
Yeah.
No, not Hurt. No.
Who was the dad in Lost in Space? The
It's
movie.
the same guy that played fucking Prince Leto in fucking Dune. Not Prince Leto, but whatever.
King.
King.
Not King.
No. I'm thinking about the Sci-Fi Dune. Sorry, Sci-Fi Channel Dune. Not David Lynch.
Yeah, we're so far. Let's see. The film, 1998 film.
It was Hurt.
Gary Oldman, William Hurt. Yep.
Yeah, William
Matt
Hurt.
LeBlanc, Heather Graham, Lacey Chabert. That was when she was real young, I believe. Anyway, this was cool, and like, you know, I like the Dr. Smith and the robot, and like, I don't know if we can trust each other. The movie, so many people hate the movie, but the movie is fine if you look at it as 3 20-minute TV show episodes.
Yeah.
Because you got the beginning with them getting away and getting sabotaged, and then you've got the Spider Planet, and then you've got the future with Dr. Smith or whatever, or the Dr. Gary Oldman in there. I don't know. Yeah, I always thought that movie was like, oh,
It's not
great.
It's not great cinema, but
Don't go out and see it or
It's not
anything.
terrible if you catch it on like Showtime
If
or
it's on, I've been making
or
this argument
USA Network or whatever.
since Cloverfield. If it's on Netflix and you got 90 minutes to kill, maybe you watch Lost in Space if you've never seen it. Hey, you know what? It's probably either going to be like, meh, which, who cares? Hey, I kind of like that. Hey, you got a benefit. Or like, oh my God, this is so terrible. Now I can go on Twitter and make fun of it. Look, you win no matter what. So,
Yeah. But this series actually looks like it could be interesting.
yeah, it looks good. Lost in Space is a great concept because it's so simple. It's a framework that fits. You got a family and a robot.
It's Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah, and an evil scientist, and they're all off out in space and trying to figure out how, and then
Yeah.
it's just Star Trek, right? It's Voyager or fucking Quantum Leap, you know, like it's Voyager meets Quantum Leap. But anyway, this looks pretty good, and the nice thing is, the other thing I got to really give Netflix credit for, John, is the fact that like this trailer just came out, and it's like April 13th. All episodes ready to watch, and I'm like, cool. I mean, you know, I don't have to wait a year and a half to see this thing. So I don't know. I'll be watching it. I also really want to watch. I think tomorrow we're recording this on Thursday. Next week, I think I'm going to watch that. That Duncan Jones's new movie is on Netflix with the
Mute.
Yeah, that's
I was
coming
just
out on
reading about
Friday.
that originally it was supposed to be like modern day, no sci-fi elements, and then like right before he started filming, he changed it,
Yeah,
and now it's like this weird sci-fi movie.
I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
So we'll see. A lot of sci-fi noir on Netflix with that and Altered Carbon, which I'm just like, yeah, no, keep more of that. More sci-fi noir. Sci-fi gets fucked, John. Nobody makes science fiction like the way that they used to.
Yeah.
This is like in the 1970s when they were like B movie or Lost in Space gets a reboot, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays it's just like, what? Give another superhero. Here's another superhero. Anyway, with that, we are going to jump into the news. Hold your applause. The news. And the beginning of the news this week is a thing that I don't normally like to do, John. And that is, we're going to be getting a little political.
Oh shit!
Nothing, no, some. You know what? Let's just do it, and then people can
Rip
see
the
what we're
Band-Aid
doing.
off, man.
Yep.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Okay, I think everybody may or may not know this. I don't talk about it a lot on Rage Select, but the number one thing that I care about in politics and in the world is net neutrality. Now, as we all know, that fucking rat fucker Ajit Pai and the FCC have managed to garbage up this shit by passing the new net neutrality kind of repeal. They're repealing the protections that were put in place for the FCC under the Obama administration because all the big companies need to be able to throttle your internet. They never will, but they need the ability to be able to do it. which I think is just like.
Which I think is hilarious because when they were told they didn't have the ability to do it, they tried to do it all the time.
Yes, exactly. And they're like, well, we never do it. And it's like, you did do it, ass.
You tried multiple times and got caught.
Yes.
Red-handed.
Yes. I like to think of the entire telecommunications industry, the entire internet industry as like, they're all just EA. If you just imagine that EA runs the entire, and it's like, if they can get away with it, they're just going to keep pushing. And they've managed to do that. They managed to push this. But here's the thing. So they've had to publish their order repealing net neutrality, and in doing so, they have to open a 60-day window for the public to comment on this order from now, and it ends on April 23rd. God, boy, howdy, and cheese and crackers, guys, I know that this is a big ask, but like, if you go look up your senator, you call them, you calm, and you express the fact that you think that this is bad. It's not a surefire thing, and I don't want anybody to be like, oh no, we failed. But you know what? It's a phone call. It's 15 minutes of your day, and hey, you know what? Again, you get to, maybe it doesn't work, but you get to feel good about yourself, feel like you at least made an effort, more than just posting about it on social media, but just like you actually
talking about it on a podcast.
Talking about it on the podcast, yes. You actually made an effort, and then also you can go online and write a tweet about what a good person you are because you called your senator and tried to get him to stop fucking with the internet.
And if you feel like your senator, just dicked you around on the call, just be like, and I tried calling, and this is how much of a dick he is.
Yes. There's actually there's a good link to this also that I'm putting in the show notes for that I had on my phone, but I don't have right in front of me. It's like a real comprehensive list of like how to find your senator, who to call, what the number is. So I'll put that in the show notes. Again, I could just briefly make the case that like I know that there are so many issues that people have. I know that there's a lot of stuff. Right now there's a lot of people talking about guns and gun control, and we've got immigration and tax reform and healthcare and all these things. And I never want to make people feel, because everybody cares about different stuff, and I don't ever want to try to make a case that like that net neutrality is more important than your thing that you care about the most, right? Let's say you care about immigration way more, or gun rights, gun control, way more than net neutrality. Here's the thing, is that the internet is a way to mobilize politically in a way that's never been done. We've never had the ability to get this many like-minded people together and push to make a thing happen. And the internet is a tool that works for any of these things. Hell, obviously I'm a libtard cuck, but like, if you want to try to push to get some kind of, faith-based school thing, or the ability for somebody to go pray somewhere or something, or you want to deregulate whatever the thing is that you want to do, whether it's conservative or liberal or libertarian or anarchist or whatever, the internet is such an important tool to be able to do that. And so I think that making sure that companies can't fuck around with it is really important, because that affects everything else. It affects your ability to see news that you wouldn't normally see, your ability to interact with people that you normally wouldn't interact with, or listen to podcasts or do whatever. And then the opposite side of that coin is that, to me, the net neutrality repeal stuff is so that companies can make more money.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's purely for that.
It's like the EA, loot box stuff, where they say to their investors, well, turning off the loot boxes isn't going to affect the money, but then they say, oh, we have to have loot boxes because games are so expensive to make. Like, it's just because they want money, and I just don't think that should be the priority, because the internet has literally changed all of humanity. So, rant over. If you get a chance, maybe call and talk to your senator. Let him know. Now, from there, we're not done yet.
I know,
because I don't normally. All right, are you ready to go back down the rabbit hole, John?
I live in this rabbit hole.
Okay, great. All right, everybody, get ready for a blast back into 1992. It's like Jack Thompson's just up. The ghost of Jack Thompson will not let us alone.
Oh, no. He's contacted certain people to say he would like to be involved with this.
Oh, Jesus.
It's already been public record.
All right, so during a White House listening session, President Trump was talking about violence in video games, and here's a quote. Quote, "We have to look at the internet because a lot of bad things are happening to young kids and young minds, and their minds are being formed, and we have to do something, and maybe what they're seeing and how they're seeing." Whenever you read a Trump quote without his pauses and everything, it just sounds insane.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds completely insane. Anyway, let's see. We have to do something about maybe what they're seeing and how they're seeing it, and also video games. I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence on video games is really shaping people's thoughts.
He also made a comment, which I loved. He was like, also, violent movies, we should really figure out a rating system for that. I when I read that, I was like, there is a rating system, you jackass.
Okay, so near as I can tell, like, we're just gonna do this again until it's done being done.
Also, there was like either a governor or senator, I want to say from Kentucky or something, that when asked about it, when asked like, do you think guns are the problem? He went, no, our gun laws are not the problem. It's video games. It's 100% violent video games. Blah, 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 blah. Like, literally, like he said, there doesn't need to be any gun regulation. We need to pass law about violent video games.
So, listen, I'm actually not going to sit here, again, like, I try to keep politics hands off on this podcast. So, whatever your feeling is about gun control, the problem with this whole motherfucker is that video games don't make people aggressive and angry, motherfucker. No, is that
it's people blaming video games that make people aggressive and angry.
Yeah, exactly. Is that we have had violent video games for my entire life. Atari 2600, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's been violent video games. There have been violent movies, horror movies, extremely violent. I should be a slathering serial killer with the amount of violent. I love violent movies. I love violent video games. I play them all the time. Yeah. I should be a murderer. I should be a Jason Voorhees chop you down murderer.
Think there's an argument that is even better than, I've been around this up my entire life, and you don't see me going around killing anyone.
Sure.
Because then the turn argument is like, well, you clearly don't have a mental illness. And if you had a mental illness and were subjected to all this, maybe you would become that. There is a better argument, though.
I would push back on that, but
I know, but I'm just saying that is the argument they would probably come back with. There's the better argument. Countries like Canada and Sweden also have these same violent video games, and their countries also have these same violent movies in their countries. They don't have the gun problems that we do. There's one difference between us and them, that they have laws, gun laws, regulation.
Yeah. All I know is that God damn it. I mean, just motherfuck. I thought enough people like me, I thought enough of my generation had gotten old to the point, or maybe
we're not that old yet.
They're the last. Still dealing with the last generation who's just like, well, D&D will make you into a Satanist and video games will make you into a murderer. And it's like, but that's just not true.
And watching that Queer Eye for the Straight Guy show will turn you the gay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Ow! Nobody has ever made a good case. Like, if you could make a good case, if you have a research study that actually makes a direct correlation.
Well, here's the problem. There's been multiple research studies done. The reputable ones state that there is no correlation between video games and violence.
Mm-hmm.
The non-reputable ones all state, yes, it does. And it's literally, if you look, you can find studies that say whatever the fuck you want it to say at this point.
I guess in a world where Call of Duty is the single highest selling game, when Halo and Call of Duty are just incredible, if there's a direct link that people should be getting, it should be like fucking old Detroit out there. It should be like RoboCop, right? Like, you can't go out on the streets. There's fucking kids jacking cars and shooting you, and just there's murder. It's the Fury Road outside. If just doing that transforms you into a psycho killer. Now, I mean, I guess there's a question to be made about. I just think eventually, like in 20 or 30 years, these people will be gone, and those of us that had to live through this argument will be enough empowered to just be like, okay, good.
One would hope.
Put this to bed, because But not soon enough for Rhode Island, John, because Robert Nardolio, a Republican member of the Rhode Island House of Representatives, wants to create a new tax. 10% tax on M-rated games. Your game is M-rated, you pay an extra 10%. And that 10% will go to mental health initiatives and counseling for students, which...
You know what? I think it's I'm a little annoyed by this, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Fine, whatever. If that's where the tax is going to go, fine.
It's not my fucking problem. Like I have no problem with maybe creating systems for people, but this is reinforcing that the idea is that the mental health is being caused by the M-rated video game.
I agree.
So the people who want to buy that because I want to play a game that says fuck shit and you shoot people in the face, that I now have to pay extra to deal with mental illness over here, which should be dealt with regardless of whether there's M-rated video. Like,
I agree. I agree with that too.
Motherfucker, man. Like,
I agree. Like the people should be getting help regardless of whether, because it's most likely not the M-rated video games that are causing the problem.
It's been 20 years. It was Jack Thompson, and then Jack Thompson went away, and then it was Fox News, and Fox News, kind of lost interest in it. Remember Mass Effect, when the Mass Effect had alien side boob, and they were just like, oh, the children, and then Dragon Age had a gay character in it. They're just like, oh, the children, and I'm like, fuck the children. I'm an adult, and I want to play adult video games. Like, I don't want there to be no R-rated movies because a child might accidentally watch an R-rated movie. It's not my responsibility. I don't have the children. If I had the children, I'd make sure they can't. Besides, every one of these motherfucking things has parental controls built into it. You don't want your kids playing M-rated games? There's a setting. All you have to do is turn it on. You put it in an M-rated game. Put in your password. Nope. Oh, you can't play this M-rated game. Like, quit holding me responsible for people who have children and then are irresponsible about. I mean, like, if you do believe that, sorry. I'm sorry. It's been 2 decades, and the fact that we're still having this conversation. You remember that guy in California that wanted to make it a felony to sell an M-rated game to a minor? They wanted to pass a bill that was like, I mean, just like all of this demonization when it's like, I don't know. I guess there's a part of me that just gets really upset about, like, it's not my job. And in a lot of ways, I feel like if you want to put M-rated games in a case behind the counter and then ID people for them, like you would for nudie mags, okay, or cigarettes or booze or anything. Like, we have things where minors should not be getting things, and then they end up getting things. But I don't know. I really object to the scapegoating of video games for.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree. I also think it's hilarious that they want to regulate, and they want to basically make it so that you can't buy M-rated games or whatever, or make it harder to buy M-rated games. But they still won't regulate the thing that actually is real and could actually hurt somebody, like guns. Like, I don't think anybody's saying no guns ever for everyone. Well, I think there's a few people that are saying that, but I really feel like most of the level-headed people are like, nah, like we're not asking for like take away the guns. We're just saying handle that shit better because our laws suck.
It's just so blatantly transparent. It's just blatantly transparent that this is difficult and that it's easy to pick on video games.
Yeah.
It's easy to just be like, well, it's the video games that are...
Well, it's also the politicians are getting paid by the NRA. And so therefore, if they were to put any type of regulation, that would piss off the NRA, so they don't want to do that. So
I don't know.
And would pull their funding.
I just, all I know is that is that for my money, one, if the thing is harmful, you haven't proved it, and two, if it's that harmful, I don't know. We have things in the world. We have pornography and cigarettes and alcohol and things that are damaging to people, damaging to adults, that you can still go buy because as an adult you should be able to do stuff. And because all the time when I hear this sentiment, the end result, the vibe that I'm getting from them is that if they could just snap their fingers and make sure that all video games were not, or there were no such thing as an M-rated video game, they'd do it in a heartbeat. Because these people who don't play video games are just like, this is for babies, and I don't know why you have to have prostitutes and machine guns in your baby toys. So please take the prostitutes out of your baby toys. But anyway, more than enough on that. One more quick jaunt. This isn't actually anything to do with violence or violence in video games, but it does have to do with legality, because across the pond in Norway, the Norwegian Consumer Council has basically put out a report saying that most of the places that sell video games digitally, like the Xbox and PlayStation Store and things like that, do not have the sufficient protections to let people return games, return digital things, and cancel pre-orders and things like this. And apparently, the most egregious of all of them is Nintendo, because at least on the Xbox and the PlayStation, I think you can cancel a pre-order and at least get your money back in credit or something like that.
I don't think so, because usually, I know on PlayStation, when you do a pre-order for something, it flat out says, this pre-order is final.
Well, I don't know. I think there's probably some way to get around it, or I don't know. Maybe it's different on the European store, because the Norwegian Council, this is from their summary, has found that out of the 7 leading digital video game platforms, only Origin and Steam have adequate systems in place for refunding purchased video games. Out of the 7 platforms, Nintendo in particular violates consumer rights by not offering any way to cancel a pre-ordered game. I think you can get around that but you have to contact like Sony or Microsoft directly. Like, I don't think there's a button that just says like unpre-order, right? I think you have to submit a ticket, but they will do it. But like Nintendo, man, you have to get really specific with Nintendo in order for them to do anything. In any case, I just wanted to bring this up because this is another, this is way down the list from like say net neutrality or anything, but like, I think it's a good idea as we move into an era of digital sales that we as consumers demand the ability to return video games. Yeah, I think that we're way past the time of not being able to do that. And the fact that both Origin and Steam already will do that, I think that not only the digital games, but I think that if you want to do some fucking lawmaking, I think that Best Buy and GameStop and whatever should be required to refund you, even if it's only 90%, but you should be able to return a thing. There's no reason I'd feel like that your video game, I mean, I understand the argument of like, well, you just buy it, you take it home, you beat it, and then you bring it back, right? But that's like the piracy argument, in my opinion, where like if you've gone out of your way to screw a whole lot of legitimate people who would not do that, who are going to buy a game, they're only going to bring it back if it's a bad game. And if it's a bad game, then the publisher should be held accountable for the fact that it's a bad game instead of, well, duh, you bought it, just go fuck yourself. So I don't know. I look at this and say I honestly believe that we should all be able to return games. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's one of the only ways. Like, of all the things that people talk about with like loot boxes and the things that they're mad and trying to pressure publishers and game developers into kind of doing the right thing, I feel like there's no greater tool at your disposal than getting your fucking money back, because that's hitting them where they care. Yeah. So, all right. Enough of all this rigmarole. Let's jump into some actual, just kind of like straight up game news. First news this week is, I would call this bittersweet, John. Yeah. I don't know. What were you about to say?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for your answer. I was like, what's your answer?
Burnout Paradise Remastered. Coming out on, I guess it's going to be like PlayStation 4, Xbox One, probably a PC release. It's Burnout Paradise along with all the DLCs. I feel like it must be really nice to work at Criterion, because anytime that Burnout Paradise comes out, it's like they bought the song Paradise. They bought the rights to Paradise City by Guns N' Roses, and God damn it, they're going to use that for every fucking trailer.
It's the theme song of the game. I think it's even in the game.
Yeah, no, it's on the title screen. So Burnout Paradise. I have some thoughts about this.
Okay.
One thought is, so y'all know EA and Criterion that we want Burnout, right? You guys are aware that there are fans of the Burnout franchise that don't give a shit about Need for Speed, but you're still not willing to make a new Burnout game. How old is Burnout Paradise? It's like, what, 5 years old? 6 years old?
Yeah, something like that.
It's no spring chicken. I don't know.
It's weird because I didn't really like Burnout Paradise.
Yeah, that's the other point I have is
apparently it has its fan base. Like, there's apparently a lot of people who do like Burnout Paradise, but I did not dig it.
I mean, I didn't think it was terrible, but to me, I'm kind of the impression 2008, so it's a 10-year-old video game.
Yeah.
But I'm of the opinion of that's all fine. Why don't you go remaster Burnout 3 Takedown, the good Burnout, and then give me that, because I want to play fucking Burnout 3 Takedown so badly.
Fucking awesome.
That game is amazing. That game is fucking incredible. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got the racing mode, and then the crash explosion challenge mode, which is so much better than that dumb. What Matt and I played, that dumb spin-off that somebody tried to make where it was just that mode, but it was in like a big hologram warehouse. It was really.
I think it was the same company.
Yeah, this is the company that made Dangerous Golf. And like Dangerous Golf kind of worked, but
that's the team that made Burnout.
Yeah,
that was the Burnout team that they left and started their own company.
But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Paradise, but please, how about Burnout 3 or a new Burnout game, or I don't know. I mean, like, yes, I understand that you did a lot of work here, but there already was a PC version of this that was pretty good, and it's just 4K and 60 frames per second. Okay. I mean, I don't really want to look at a 10-year-old game in 4K.
Well, maybe they HDified it so that it looks like 10 times better.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. This trailer is okay. I mean, it does. The problem is the first time in this trailer that they did the slow motion watching one of the cars wreck, I was just like, oh, right. This franchise was so good. Like when it was just that, but a racing game where you get to watch the cars shred apart.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. If you never played Burnout Paradise, we'll see how much it costs. It's going to be out sometime later this year, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Next up, there is a new photo. Shows how much people are looking for Death Stranding news. That there was a photo that Emily O'Brien posted with her and Norman Reedus and Troy Baker over at working on Death Stranding. So Emily O'Brien and Troy Baker are both in Death Stranding, probably. For those of you who don't know who they are.
Yeah, I thought we knew Troy Baker was in.
Did we? Troy Baker was
or rumored
Ocelot in MGS5, and Joel and Dre. It
could be. It could just be that Troy Baker was rumored. I think, but but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good stuff. Troy Baker. I don't really know that much about Emily O'Brien. Apparently, she was Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale game. But yeah, good. In news that I'm sure will make John exceptionally excited, we have some Remedy news.
Yeah, some stuff's happening.
Yes. This is the level of news this week is like, so at an earnings call,
Remedy's doing something.
Remedy's got something happening. Okay, so we knew about Project 7, which is some kind of third-person shooter that's going to be their next thing.
Yeah.
It's coming out next year, I believe.
2019, yeah.
Yeah. And then apparently, and that's being published by 505. And then I didn't actually know this, but
they're also doing the single player for
it's a game called Crossfire 2.
Crossfire 2 in China.
Okay, I don't even know what
it's a free to play online game. In China,
and they're doing
the single player mode for it, which is basically a story mode.
Okay.
Like they got contacted by the company saying, "Hey, we're not good at story modes, and we would actually like to include a story mode in Crossfire 2."
What is Crossfire 2?
Like I said, it's an online MMO.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about it.
Looks like Saints Row from this picture. I'm just in the Crossfire wiki. It's got a battle royale mode. Okay. But then also, there's another thing that they're working on. There's no word yet on whether it's a new IP, an existing IP, or who the publisher is, or anything. But there is a third thing.
Yeah. Which I love that. I don't get me wrong. I'm plenty excited.
Right.
But yeah, I just love the fact it's like P7 don't have any new information on it other than it's coming out in 2019.
Right.
Also, they're still doing the story mode for Crossfire 2, which you already knew about.
Yep.
Also, there's a third thing.
Yep. And
That's
it. All I know is that I thought this was kind of interesting because it seems like they're doing a lot. It seems like, because in the past, I feel like Remedy is very much a one project at a time company. I mean, like maybe
They used to be
starting the next
They actually,
project.
After Quantum Break, they did, like, there was actually an interview, I think it was on Polygon or something like that, where they actually talked about how after Quantum Break, they kind of realized that their company could not continue
that way
at the way that they were working, so they kind of had to split up I think it was while they were working on Quantum Break, they had to split up there was a smaller team working on like smaller like tablet games, and then there was the team working on, but then they decided like even that wasn't working, so they kind of split it up so that, you know, there's kind of an even, like they can kind of work more efficiently and possibly be able to make more stuff.
That's cool. I mean, as long as I never really got back into Quantum Break, but I like Remedy, and even though I didn't get into Quantum Break very much, I kind of liked what I played of it.
I liked it all the way up until the ending. I thought the ending was kind of hard, overtly hard.
It was for me, it was a big ask with the whole kind of like stopping for an extended, like the TV episode parts of it were kind of like, I kind of want to just keep playing the game. Like, I don't want to stop. But in any case,
it was a nice experiment.
It was an interesting experiment. At least they try new stuff. Yeah. Is there anything? Let's see. Probably not an Alan Wake. Maybe Alan Wake?
I mean, we know that they had made a demo for what would be Alan Wake 2 that then never got off the ground and they shelved it.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be Alan Wake 2 completely redone from the ground up, and new idea with it.
It's just a 4K remaster of Alan Wake of
you know
PS4
what?
to Xbox One.
I'd buy it. I would. Fucking love that game.
And then Rockstar owns the rights to Max Payne.
And Remedy with Max Payne 3, they kind of wiped their hands with it. They're like, it's Rockstar's, we're not involved.
Sure.
Sam Lank, I think, helped them with the story, gave them notes. But outside of that, he was like, nah, that's not my baby anymore. 2K owns that.
Yeah.
2K and Rockstar. But yeah, it's like, I'm trying to think, what other properties do they still own the rights to?
I guess it, right? Alan Wake, Quantum Break. Quantum Break is Microsoft, right?
Quantum Break is Microsoft licensed. But yeah, I think it's like Alan Wake. I want to say there's a few other older titles that they still own the rights to.
What did they do before?
I think it's like Rock and Roll Racing or something like that. Because I know they released
Death Rally.
Death Rally, thank you.
Yeah,
Death Rally, because they actually released a tablet version of that, which I thought was actually pretty good. It was fun.
Storm. Is it like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Death Rally. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that was just a top-down racer, kind of with weapons.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I try not to. I'm not going to get super excited, and I'm excited, but I'm not super excited until I see something.
You guys heard it. John's super excited.
Sure.
All right. Next up, a lot of interesting kind of updates to stuff and companies this week. So System Shock. Night Dive Studios was making They did a Kickstarter. They got $1.3 million for rebooting or remastering System Shock for new generation. We played the demo for it.
Yeah, we did.
It was a very short demo.
Yeah.
Okay, this project has been put on hiatus. But what's interesting is that, as near as I can tell, this is not your normal bullshit hiatus, right? So there's a whole thing where who's the guy here? The Night Dive Studio CEO Stephen Kick. So he basically said, and I don't know if you were on the last time that we talked about this, but there was a dev diary that showed them remastering kind of a section of the game to give you more options about whether you wanted to go as like stealth or whether you wanted to just kind of run and gun or whatever. Adding, like, trying to keep the same flavor and the same flow, but then like adding kind of more stuff in. They also had a thing where they briefly showed a system of freezing enemies, like with a freeze gun, and how the individual pieces of them would break, and you could use that into certain advantages. So apparently what happened is they decided to, when they were doing it, they looked at it, they decided the original levels were a little primitive. So they started looking at ways to essentially kind of create a, if you'll excuse the expression, a shock-style experience with the original System Shock, like giving you the ability to, like I said, go stealth or set up traps or do things. Well, apparently they just recently kind of took a step back and looked at what they were doing, and they're like, we're not remastering this game, we're like completely reimagining it. And that's not what the people kickstarted. They kickstarted a remaster, not a complete remake where we go in and change up everything in the game and add all this new stuff to it. So the current hiatus is for them to kind of step back, take a look at it, and decide, like, what do we want to do with this? Do we want to, how could we remaster such an old game that is so primitive in a way that would be fun for a modern audience? Which I think is laudable, that they could take a step back and not just kind of get so deep, your whole sunk cost fallacy of getting so deep into development that they're just like, I don't know. So it has been said that they are on hiatus, but this is not just like an infinite hiatus. This is like, we're going to take a step back. We're going to reevaluate how we can use what we've already made and how we can, make this game so that it's both fun to play in a modern sense and true to the vision that the Kickstarter backers gave us. So, and last but not least, if you want to watch a big fat video full of nothing, Swery and Arc System Works have announced a new game called The Missing.
Swery is holding a monkey.
Yep, he's holding a monkey. He's got a lot of plants around him.
There's a monkey in the background.
White owl. There's a white owl. That's the name of the studio. And boy, this couldn't have
be sick.
Have less information, except that it's going to be sick. I don't know who translated that, but it's going to be fucking sick, y'all. Apparently, this is in addition to whatever because they were going to do the Good Life or whatever.
Well, it didn't succeed,
right? But then they were going to back it up and they were going to retool it and they were going to bring it back to Kickstarter. But apparently, I think this is different than that.
This is different than that, yeah.
So get excited, I guess. What it is extremely questionable.
We know that Swery has complete creative control, and Arc System Works is letting him do whatever the fuck he wants, and let him to implement his vision, and it's going to be sick.
Yep, we can't reveal all that much, and so yeah,
this title will blow your mind.
I like that. It seems like in America we don't have Cliff Bleszinski come out with a bunch of plants holding a stuffed monkey and say, it's going to make a sick game. It's going to be about feelings and the way that you feel about them. Arc System Works. Bye. I kind of appreciate this level of ridiculousness.
Ridiculous vagueness?
Yeah, ridiculous vagueness. Of course, I am a little bit more interested than in the other game right now. It's not
the cat game.
It wasn't called The Good Life. That's the Ted Danson show. It's called the Sweet Life or something.
Something like that.
John, your favorite fighting game has announced some new characters.
Sweet.
Did you tell the people at home who was announced?
Soul Calibur was it 6? 6. They just announced Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
And since this game takes place in during the time of Soul Calibur 1, she's wearing a costume that is appropriate to her getup in Soul Calibur 1. Because as you may not be aware of, as they went on in the franchise, she put on more clothes.
Oh, okay.
Not much.
Yeah.
Still barely wearing anything by the time 4 or 5 rolled around.
Yeah.
But there was more.
But not just like the insane right upper crack swimsuit that she's wearing in this thing.
Oh, no. It was always right upper crack.
Oh, okay.
Like that part's always the same.
Okay. I don't understand.
But yeah, it's Ivy,
with whip sword
with her chainsword, and
And
then the other one was the one that puzzled me, which is Zasalamel,
yep.
who was introduced in 3.
Yeah.
And I think he was an unlockable character in 4, and then he didn't appear in 5. But he's got a scythe. Interesting character. Like I said, he was from 3, so given the fact that this game takes place back in Soul Calibur 1,
right?
And now they're putting him in there saying that he was there, because they kind of have been ambiguous on what this is, because some people have been like, oh, is this a complete remake of the first game?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you just rebooting it? And they're like, no, the events of the first game still happened, this just happened at the same time.
Okay.
And
does that matter a whole lot to you? Where it fits in the actual storyline of Soul Calibur?
I mean, Soul Calibur has an interesting story.
Okay.
I
wasn't trying to be derisive or anything.
Yeah.
I was just genuinely curious.
Yeah, no, I mean, it in the grand scheme of things, no.
Okay.
No, it doesn't matter to me. But I'd like to know if they're rebooting it. Just say you're rebooting it. If you're
not, then
why are you just telling another story in the original Soul Calibur?
Yeah.
But everything I've seen so far for this game looks great.
Okay.
I mean, I think I'm trying to remember the characters that they've already announced. So it's Ivy, Zasalamel were just announced.
Yeah.
Previously, they announced Zhanghua and Killik.
Mm-hmm.
They announced a new character whose name I've already forgotten. And then they also announced Mitsurugi, Sophia, and I want to say there's one other person Nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta have a Soul Calibur game without Nightmare. Come on.
Yeah.
Next up in trailer news, we got a Battlefield 1 Apocalypse trailer, which looks really good. Looks very cinematic. Looks very like it's got a voiceover talking about how unfair war is, and looks like a bunch of characters. And I mean, this is just it's maps. Like I would be interested if this was story, but it's not story.
You went and looked it up, and it's just maps.
It's just 5 multiplayer maps, which, if you're into Battlefield 1, a lot of people are into Battlefield 1. It's got the Somme and London. I think London is like an air map mostly,
Okay.
like a dogfighting air map. It's just interesting to me that this trailer is cut so much like a movie trailer, right?
Yeah.
And this is just like multiplayer maps. So I don't know. I still am not super interested in playing Battlefield 1. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a people who play it, so I'm sure this will be great because it's going to be a nice little breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I mean, jump back to last week, right? Like I can't shit on For Honor has a huge player base. The Division had a huge player base. Like there's people playing all kinds of shit out there.
Yeah.
People playing Metal Gear Solid 3 fight clubs just constantly. That's all they do. I watch some of their videos sometimes. We got one more trailer. This is kind of crazy for Yume Nikki Dream Diary, which is the remake of Yume Nikki. You remember Yume Nikki, right?
I never played Yume Nikki.
Okay. Well, we played it once for the Asylum.
Yeah.
Jason and I did. This used to be kind of a top-down, sprite-based, kind of a weird, surreal horror game with a little girl who goes to sleep, goes into various dreams, and has a lot of different kind of crazy adventures. When they announced the reboot, because in the original Yume Nikki, you're just kind of like walking around looking at stuff. And eventually, I think you get a bike. Like you pick up a few things, but there's not a huge amount of direct interaction with stuff. Whereas this looks like it's got all kinds of puzzles and traversal and different stuff. I kind of like the way that some of the abstract elements from the top-down game are represented in here. Like very specifically, there was a scene where let's see. Where the main character was running, and then you had this like kind of weird watercolor-looking thing in the background. Is that in the game, it was like the background of the game because it was top-down, and the background of the game was just this something that looked very much like this, but pixelated, just kind of all around. So it seems to be doing an awful lot of work, and it's also coming out on Friday, which will be 2 days before this podcast. So if you've never played Yume Nikki, it should be coming out on Steam, and this is very much being remade with the direct involvement of the guy that made the original, but obviously a much larger staff and more assets put in.
Yeah.
So I think it looks
Wasn't
good.
the original free?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like just kind of a little indie download it.
Yeah, and then this one is $19.99, and which
I don't know. I mean, look at the Steam reviews. Maybe it'll be garbage. Maybe it'll be good.
Who knows?
But I'll tell you what is good, and it's definitely not garbage, and that is Ruiner. Oh man, Devolver Digital, why won't you return my phone calls? So Ruiner is getting a free update. This update basically has it looks like an arena, some new cosmetic stuff, but it's all free. It's all free, and fucking Ruiner is amazing, man. I just I don't know. We're gonna get to. There's gonna be a question that comes in during the podcast, but I feel like Devolver Digital is the ultimate answer to the argument that we keep seeing about what games cost so much to make. You need to have $60 on a season pass and loot boxes, and it's just motherfucker. I played more good Devolver Digital games that cost $20 or less than I played $60 AAA developed video games over my lifetime. I really want to go.
And
back
also,
and play
Devolver has also published some quote unquote games that are not just games in a way.
Yeah.
That they're it's a different experience. Like what was it? There was a game called Video Game Jam or something like that. I can't remember what it was. It was like $5, and it was like a three different games were part of it, and they're like demos almost. And then there's a documentary about the making of the demo.
Yeah.
And then the people, if they wanted to, the team that made those two the demo, if they wanted to try to turn it into a full game, they kept the rights to it, and they could if they wanted to.
Okay.
But it was just really cool. And I bought it on a whim, and the documentaries were cool to watch. They would partner up, two different guys and just put them, pay for them to hang out and give them a weekend to make a game, and it's fucking cool.
I mean, they're not every one of them is the best thing that ever happens, but I'm just looking at this is just this is the section on Devolver Digital's website called New Hotness. Red Strings Club, Stories Untold, Shadow Warrior 2, Reigns, Ruiner. Let's see. So a lot of these I haven't played. Like Gorn, somebody keeps asking me to play Gorn. I would if I had a Vive, but it's Vive only. It's not on the PSVR. To get it's like a super bloody arena thing where you're hacking off people's limbs and stuff. Genital jousting, Mother Russia Bleeds, Crossing Souls
was getting a PSVR release at some point.
Not that I've heard of.
Okay.
It may be at some point.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, you're right.
But not this moment. Trust me, I want to play Gorn because it's also Free Lives. It's also genital jousting and the Broforce guys. So, I want to play it. Person who keeps suggesting it, I just don't have the hardware. I need to get Brian. to play it because he's got a Vive. But yeah, fucking Devolver Digital, man. Just fucking kudos. You guys keep putting out good games. They remind me a little bit of old school LucasArts. It's you can kind of trust whatever they put out. It may not all be the best. Sometimes you get a Star Wars Yoda stories in there, but sometimes.
Well, it's that also reminds me of and I think one of the executives at Devolver may have been involved with this, but there was a company a long time ago that I think it ended up getting bought by 2K.
Yeah.
Called Gathering of Developers.
Yeah.
God Games. I mean, they were responsible for Oni and I think the first Max Payne and a bunch of others. But I fucking loved Gathering of Developers. I mean, they were a little bit more high profile games.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, I think
Nocturne, Rune, Fact 2. I don't think this is the same company you're thinking of. Because this is games published: Railroad Tycoon 2, Jazz Jackrabbit 2, Darkstone, Fly, Nocturne, Age of Wonders, Blair Witch Volume 1, Blair Witch Volume 2, Fly 2K, Rune, Blair Witch Volume 3, Fact 2, and 4x4 Evo. Are you thinking of Pandemic, maybe?
No, I don't know. But like I said, it's
Which was the game that you were talking about?
It wasn't called Gathering. It was just called. That looks like that's Gather, or I don't know, God Games. But yeah.
What was the game that you were saying?
Like the original Oni. Because I know that was published by 2K.
Okay, let's take a look.
I vaguely remember it being.
Oh yeah, it says Gathering of Developers.
Yeah.
So I guess this list is just not finished.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
Fuck
I mean,
you,
like they
Wikipedia.
had like a bunch of. And I want to say it got bought out by like 2K or something, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oni was cool. I like that game. That and Shogo Mobile Armor Division.
Yeah.
Shogo Mad. That game was really silly. But yeah, I don't know. Fucking good job, Devolver Digital. Y'all are the best. And whenever you do a thing, I want to say yay. Speaking of things that I want to say yay about, there's a trailer. I don't even know who these guys are. They're okay. There's a game called Egress that's coming out that is doing a thing. John, I swear to you, when I was reading that book about game development, I fucking sent myself an email and it said Battle Royale Dark Souls combat. And that's what this is. So you guys rip it off my email, hack it into Jeff's email to get your ideas. I see how it is. But basically, this just looks like a Battle Royale, but with Souls. It kind of it looks more like a Let It Die to me than I mean, it's obviously like modern day and not medieval.
Yeah.
But it's a good idea. I mean, that kind of Souls style dueling combat is very popular, and so is the Battle Royale model. So, the only thing is when they actually get to the little gameplay section, it just reminds you that Souls, watching people fight in the Souls combat can be excruciatingly boring if you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Just watching people exchange 2 hits and then the other person just ran back. If I was cutting this trailer, I would want that other person to be getting killed in that moment. And
yeah.
Anyway, still, this is coming out sometime this year. PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. I'm keeping an eye out. Keep it out.
Looks cool.
And last but not least, it's good stuff I was talking about, like Netflix and Lost in Space earlier.
Well, they also pay to make some real shit.
Yeah, including file this one under, could you not understand the point any more than you already have? Reboot the Guardian Code?
So it's a reboot of the show Reboot, which for anyone who is not familiar with what Reboot is, it is a animated series. It was one of the first fully CGI animated series. If you were to go back and watch it now, the animation's kind of archaic, and
very
but when it came out, it was fucking amazing.
Right.
It's by a company called Mainframe Entertainment. You may be familiar with another show that they did called Beast Wars, called Transformers Beast Wars.
I don't know what's that.
Also Battle Planets, I think it was another one they had that was pretty cool. I actually have the complete Battle Planet series on DVD.
Reboot came around when I was kind of older, and then I was too old for Beast Wars.
So the idea behind Reboot, the original series, is that it took place inside of a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You had in this computer there were programs and people. It was essentially Tron, but no humans inside the world. It was all inside the computer, and in each computer was a guardian.
Mm-hmm.
In Reboots, it was a character named Bob, who is the guardian of that system, and he would basically protect the system from antivirus, or he was essentially the antivirus. But also, whenever the player would play a game, he would have to play as the antagonist.
Yep.
And the point was, he had to make sure that the player did not win the game.
Right.
Because if the player won the game, it would destroy the section of the city that game took place in.
It's the only part of that I don't really agree with, because I'm like, well, that doesn't really make any sense. But whatever.
And so he's essentially... That's why games are so hard, was the idea behind it, is because they are fighting for their lives, essentially.
Yep.
Because if they lose, I think they also die. They get derezzed or whatever. And it's a really great show. You had an awesome villain voiced by Tony Jaa, who is he was in Soul Calibur. He's he's done a lot. He was done. You know his voice. Trust me, it's fucking awesome. Yeah. Who unfortunately has passed away and is no longer able to voice that character.
Who's the other one? The virus, with the lady with the face
hexadecimal.
Hexadecimal, yeah. Megabyte and hexadecimal.
Yeah, so there were the villains, and and it was a great series. Yeah. Really good series.
Got real dark too.
Got
towards
really
the
dark
end.
towards the end.
Yeah.
And they even had like this kind of interesting place that they were going to try to take the show after where it ended, but then they never could get off. And they've been trying to like get a reboot or a sequel series.
See, reboot what you did there.
Like off the ground for like ever.
Yeah.
And then apparently at some point Netflix said, yeah, sure, we'll produce it. And they went, cool. Now it's live action mixed with CGI moments, and it's follows the life of a bunch of teenagers at Alan Turing High School. Get it? Get it?
Ow!
Where these 4 students get digitized into the digital world and become the first ever human guardians.
Yeah.
And they have to save the universe from some weird hacker guy, and who is now also the commander of Megabyte.
Yeah.
And it's this weird thing where it's like got the elements of Iron Man from inside the suit.
Yep.
It's got elements of fucking Power Rangers for some godforsaken reason. The Super Samurai Cyber Squad with a Lawrence. It's only missing a Lawrence brother to be that. But yeah, it
looks awful.
It doesn't look great. And
Like-
and this is coming from a guy who still watches Power Rangers.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like, I don't understand how they keep fucking this up. The idea, like Tron, right?
Yeah.
The idea of Tron is that what's going on inside of your computer is actually a bunch of it's anthropomorphic little people, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a great concept. Like Tron 2.0, the game where it's like you go out onto the internet and there's this virus and it's all kind of just like the way that people get infected. Like it's such a fertile ground, especially now with like, oh shit, they're jumping between phones. I got to follow them into the next phone, of like creating an adventure series that all takes place inside of a computer. There's almost more live action in here than there is CGI, and the CGI that there is kind of gross looking.
Yeah, it kind of looks bad.
And so, like, why
Like it
not?
doesn't actually look very much better than the original.
It's kind of like the fucking the stupid emoji movie, right? Where
Yeah.
the whole point is that they've got to like leave their phone and kind of go through the internet. Like, there's so much fertile ground to do with making like, adventures in different types of apps or in different types of mainframes or in different, and like, there's so many different ways that you could do this that make it interesting. This looks like the most generic horse shit. Like, oh, and then the computer lady comes out of the computer and she doesn't know how to act like a person. Derp, derp, derp. And like, oh, the hacker, he's got a black hoodie on and his voice is shifted. He's the black and white, low resolution Megabyte. You belong to me now. Like, fucking, it couldn't be more by the numbers. It couldn't be more just like, oh shit, okay, I see. Yep.
Yeah, I think I was talking to someone. It may have been you a little bit earlier, or may have been someone else. They were like, "This feels like there was like a Netflix executive, and then the people who were pitching this originally, like went out on a business meeting, like a business dinner, and they all got shit faced.
Yeah.
And they were telling him the story, and he's like, "Oh man, this sounds great. I want to make this into a series, but I'm going to have my own people make it." And then when he went back to the office the next day with a hangover, he's like, yeah, there's internet. It's like Tron and kind of like Power Rangers, I think. Let's just make it into a thing.
Yeah.
And then like with barely any information,
there's so many ways. There's so many things. There's so many things that you could have done to make this look more interesting, be more interesting. But the thing that I feel like is just completely incomprehensible to me is everybody. Okay, listen. Nobody's going to capture the youth of today with Reboot. This is obviously a nostalgia jerk for us.
And this is my thing. It's like, who is this for?
Right. Because it's not for people who are fans of the original, because you
changed
had to do,
it so much.
Right, is bring back those characters, update the graphics. You didn't need to film all this high school horse shit. You could have had barely passable CGI with good writing. Like, that's the whole thing about Reboot. Don't spend any money on the production. Give all the money to some good writers to make you a really good story, and then you can have half-ass CGI that looks kind of like an homage to the way that it used to look. Up your game a little bit with modern tools, but not like not out of the park. It doesn't have to look like fucking Pixar
Do like you
movie.
did with fucking Voltron, motherfuckers.
Exactly. And for fuck's sake, don't shoot a bunch of live action and digitize. And I build a set. We're in room 0. It's Alan Turing High School. Oh, there's a warehouse. This guy's got a bunch of computers. We got to put a bunch of shit on the computers. Like 8,000 people acting in here. Just boo. I mean, boo.
It does come off. The trailer kind of comes off like they really wanted their own Power Rangers.
Yeah, but if you were going to do that, you know what? Like, to me, I guess the thing that I don't understand is why you needed the live action. Like, you could have had this. You could have had the opening just be live action, and then they go into the computer, and then, oh no, we're trapped. And now it's like, it's like Sliders or Quantum Leap or something where it's like, we're trapped from system to system, and Megabyte's always on our tail, and we're trying to get back to our buddies because, we're just 4 kids got thrown into this crazy computer. It's Captain N, the Game Master meets Quantum Leap, and you got reboot stuff. Fine. And then after episode 5, they run into Bob. Like he's old in one of the computers that they jump to. And he's like, oh, Megabyte, I haven't heard that name in a long time, and he's like, I could tell you how to get back home. Here, take the thing, my little wristband thing. Yeah, take Glitch. She'll help you get back home. And it's like, it doesn't have to all be the old one. But, like, for fuck's sake, that was the top of my head. I'm hungover. Like, how did you fuck this up this hard? It's kind of like the Chris Columbus is making Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm just like, fucking why? Anyway, I don't know. These days, John.
Again, my biggest thing is, who is this for?
Yeah,
because saying reboot isn't going to mean shit to kids today.
Yeah,
because no one's watched it.
Right.
And this is clearly not for me a fan of the original reboot because this is nothing like the original reboot.
Because you're now in your 30s and you don't care about the adventures of a bunch of 15-year-olds or 22-year-old Canadians pretending to be 15-year-olds.
I do watch Power Rangers still.
Okay.
Like I am caught up on the current shows. So
okay, well then maybe sure. Anyway, is this exciting to you? Let us know in the comments.
I'm just saying it looks bad.
It looks pretty bad. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We actually got a shitload of emails.
Cool.
Or a fair amount, and they're pretty good emails, too. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to answer some emails, so stick around. I don't know why I said it like that. And we're back.
Hey.
It's time for questions, John.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I was hoping to get. I've really been playing a lot of Metal Gear Survive. I was really hoping that I could maybe get through it to give a review. I don't know. I'm still working on it. I'll say right now that it's kind of an interesting question about. It's a really good game system. That the Fox engine is a very good engine that plays extremely well. I don't know. I'm starting to think that for $40, and almost invariably at some point it's going to drop down to $20, right, on a digital sale or something like that.
I'm sure eventually it'll pop up as a game for PS Plus, free for PS Plus, free for Xbox
Gold. Yeah. It's not the worst thing I've played in the world, but it's definitely kind of a cynical cash grab. But then you got to kind of wonder. Sometimes cynical cash grab isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's no Metal Gear. It's definitely missing all the Kojima weirdness, or a lot of the Kojima weirdness. But
you know what I've been playing?
Tell me.
Bayonetta 1 on the Switch.
We just started that as our new sequential.
Yeah.
Man, that game
on the
is
Switch?
Good. Yeah, on the Switch.
Okay.
Yeah, we're using the Switch version because I know. I mean, whenever I can keep my main PC from having to have the same game installed over and over again, I try to.
Yeah.
Besides, we only do 30 frames per second capture, and it's nice just to be able to just be like, boop, it's up on the Switch.
Yeah, but it's good.
Bayonetta's a fucking great game.
I know it's a great game. Me and you have talked about how it's a great game.
Yep.
I'm just saying, on the Switch, it's fucking good.
Yep.
And I'll admit I haven't actually messed because it dawned on me that I never played Bayonetta 1 on the Wii U.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I bought it.
Yeah.
I played Bayonetta 2.
Right.
Never finished it because I think a couple of weeks later, some other game came out that drew my attention away.
Yeah.
But I never played Bayonetta 1, so I'm like, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna play Bayonetta 1 on the Switch.
Yep.
Because fuck it, I haven't done any of the costumes. I haven't done the Peach costume or the Link costume.
They're so weird. I they just don't fit with the game. I really prefer the costumes that you can unlock in the game because they feel more like they should be in the game. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's a rock solid game. And I tell you what, that's a great lead into our first question this week.
Oh, good.
It comes in from Gorm Dragon, aka Gorm, who says, "All hail Doncles, John and Jeff." And he says, "Jeff, I recall you having reservations with Dark Souls being ported to the Switch. I've started seeing reviews for Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Switch, but there was hardly any talk about the controls. Have you tried it, and or do you see this as being an issue as well? Controls are almost always the crux of success or failure on a port, but I'm surprised not much attention is focused on it. Hope you pick this up as a question to discuss from Gorm Dragon."
Yeah.
So here's a question. I know I actually went out and bought the Pro Controller specifically for playing Bayonetta all the way.
Got the Pro Controller for Christmas.
Right.
So,
but you use your Switch a lot in
handheld mode.
In handheld mode.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that I've said I was talking about Skyrim was that the analog sticks on the Switch on the actual Joy-Cons are a little shallow, and I feel like it's a little uncomfortable to me playing in remote mode for games that require a lot of like dexterity, because the shoulder buttons aren't. I mean, the thing is obviously a cross between being able to be portable and then like enough functionality, right?
Yeah,
but like the shoulder buttons aren't quite as responsive as I would expect out of like a controller.
No, I agree with you on that.
So have you played Bayonetta in that mode?
Yeah. No, I've played it in handheld mode predominantly because what I've been playing it mostly is like on my days off because I have to get up early to take the dog out on a walk.
Oh, sure.
And we also kind of quote unquote sleep in.
Yeah.
So Amanda gets to sleep in and I don't, because the dog wakes me up to take her on a walk.
Right.
And then I come back and I'm awake by that point.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not going to sleep, so I just grab the Switch, or grab the handheld Switch, go to the bedroom, turn the volume down or put headphones on and then just start playing. And
how's it been?
I think it's great. Like I think if you were to ask me which I would prefer, the Pro Controller or handheld with the Joy-Cons, Pro Controller,
right,
superior in every way.
Sure.
But with the Joy-Cons, I have had some issues where like it doesn't have the responsiveness that I've wanted it to. Like even like the buttons on the Joy-Con don't have the responsiveness.
They're a little smaller.
Well, it's just like I found myself missing a lot of the quick time events.
Right. Dodging to go into like Witch Time and Bayonetta.
Well, not even just that, but just like there's a quick time event that you press X quickly or Bayonetta immediately dies.
Oh, okay.
And I've
bumbled that a little bit.
The keys on the Joy-Con controller just aren't responding as quickly. Like there's a little bit of a delay. Like to me, that could just be my controllers. I don't know.
Sure.
But on but it's not enough that it's actually caused too much of an issue. And then like if I have my preference, I'd be playing on the Pro Controller.
I have a feeling. I mean, like I've gotten used. I mean, I have a feeling that if you played,
I have not.
Yeah.
Done the touchscreen controls. I've ignored those because why?
What? Yeah.
But
why? Yeah. I think that it's the sort of thing that if I had to play for an extended period of time, I'd probably end up getting used to it. It's mostly just I think. The fact I'm in a slightly different situation in the fact that I have so many different gaming systems and that I play so predominantly on this controller, on the PS4 controller, that it does feel different being this kind of like smaller version. I actually think that it probably would be less of an issue if I was to take the Joy-Cons out and hold one of them in each hand.
Yeah, I can.
Because especially with something like Bayonetta where it's super fast, I feel like I don't want to be. I don't want my enthusiasm, shall we say, in quick button pressing to kind of feel like you're also holding the whole game system in your hand and feel a little tinny.
And I will also say the other reason I've been playing it in handheld mode is because Amanda, knowing that you were going to be playing it for a dojo, has asked to not have to watch it.
Sure.
So I typically play it in handheld mode while she's playing a game herself, or if she's reading her book.
Yeah.
In a way that she, because she's seen Bayonetta, she's played Bayonetta, she saw the anime,
right?
So she knows the story of it, so it's not going to be surprising. But she kind of wants. She doesn't want to be like, all right, there's that scene, and then I can try to think of like 20 jokes or whatever,
right?
And then none of those jokes land because whatever reason.
Well, it's funny because I feel like when we recorded it yesterday, that that part at the beginning in the graveyard, it's just I was just like, there's barely any commentary because it's just like, what the fuck? Like it's so awesome.
And I think and she's like, plus the reaction is probably going to be better to it, so I'd rather not be reminded of it right now. I'd rather have the oh yeah, this is that crazy scene where this happens,
right?
Like, and not be like, okay, that crazy scene where this happens is happening in a few minutes.
Yep.
She's like, I want to kind of go in a little fresh with it.
It's strange to me because I played the beginning of Bayonetta a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But I have since the original time that I played it, I've never pushed actually all the way through into the game. So I'm actually really excited to kind of get further in. In any case, as far as the controls go, Gorm Dragon, I feel like it's a trade-off, and that if I had a Switch and I was playing it all the time, like Zelda, was a very kind of third-person lock-on action. I never really had that much difficulty with it. I think it's mostly the idea of playing. Like the place that I noticed it the most was Skyrim, and I think that was just that I needed to play it a little bit and get used to it. I mean, all the controllers kind of have their ins and outs. It's definitely better than on the Wii U. The Wii U's, there's something about the looseness of the little analog sticks.
Okay.
And it's still also just kind of weird to me to have a screen between my hands. It's still just like a little strange. Even the 3DS, which is the primary other portable thing, it's usually you're playing on the top screen, so it's like you're kind of where your hands are divorced. But I don't think it's a huge problem. I don't think it's going to be a thing that really ruins a game. So also I picked up the Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, which should be noted when you open the box for that, you have a card that has Resident Evil Revelations 1 on it and a code to download Resident Evil Revelations 2.
I mean, that's the same way that Bayonetta was. But except it's a code for Bayonetta 1, and then you got Bayonetta 2 on the card.
Yeah.
And then I think they're doing the same thing with the Mega Man collection. You're actually buying Mega Man Collection 1 and 2, so you get all 10 games, and then the card has Mega Man Collection 1 on it, and then it has a download code for 2.
Okay. Let's see. Our next question comes in from GBK413. And this one is directed to me, but you were on this last podcast, so I feel like we could talk about this. I actually had to go back and listen to find out what Jimmy K was asking about. So Jimmy K writes in and says, Dear Jeff and John, I was listening to your podcast. Actually, I just want to say, he starts us off as just saying, Dear Jeff, and I feel like there's some vitriol in here. I don't want any vitriol coming your way, John. I want anybody talking smack to John. Says, I was listening to your last podcast, and I noticed that you inferred that the video game companies need to charge more than current $60 for a video game. This is BS. It's amazing that I can go to Best Buy and buy a game for $60 plus tax and download any game on my Xbox for $60 plus tax. When I download a game, there is no packaging, disc, or retail middleman. That money goes directly to Microsoft and the publisher. This is a bad practice. Also, the Season Pass BS is a way of getting more money from the consumer on a promise of future content that shouldn't be allowed. The only game that has seasons are Madden and FIFA. Microtransactions are the last straw. No one but game developers think these are a good idea. How about before they charge more for the game, they allow you to return a game if you don't like it after 3 days? Who was just talking about that? My question is, why are you letting the game developers off the hook? And do you really think that microtransactions are a result of developers needing money to make better games? Jimmy K 413. So this is why I definitely went back to listen to what I said to understand what
I think we actually brought up both sides of the argument. I don't think we actually said. I think you said if that's what needs to happen, then yes, make it more money. Make them cost more money if that's truly what it is.
Yes.
Otherwise.
Yeah, so this is a good one to clarify, right?
Yeah.
Because okay. There's been a lot of different things going on, and this is why I wanted to talk about Devolver earlier, is that I've said before, and I will say again, that if Electronic Arts put out legitimately the best video game like just an amazing new video game that's doing things that no video game has ever done before, and it's 60 hours. It's got a lot of replay value. It's got a fully solid single-player thing, and then all the content that would be DLC is on the disc, and it's also got a multiplayer thing that's also very good and good to play, whatever. And if I knew that game was going to be like the game, I would spend $80 on it, right? If that's what they wanted to charge out of the box. The problem is not, for me, necessarily the idea of an $80 game, because some of my favorite games, like Bloodborne, right? Bloodborne's a $60 game, and then I bought all the DLC. And I thought it was all the DLC, the Old Hunters pack was totally worth it. So I ended up spending around $70 or $80 on Bloodborne, and I feel like I 100% got my money's worth out. I played that game so many fucking times. I love it, right? The problem is not, to me, necessarily the idea of more than $60 for a game. The problem is the disconnect between what a publisher thinks is worth that money. Like, if the game itself was worth that money, this is probably not the best analogy, but I don't have any problem spending, like, going out to dinner and spending a lot of money on a very nice meal, right? Yeah. More money than I would spend on a weekly meal, right? Because I'm getting a higher quality product, so I don't mind spending more money on that higher quality product. The problem is that if you use your advertising budget to tell me that the product is of high quality, but then when I get it, it turns out that I paid more for just the same quality of what should be, $60, then that's to me where the problem comes in.
I'll even take you one step further in that analogy. Like with DVDs and Blu-rays, there was a time where I would go out and buy tons of DVDs and Blu-rays.
Yeah.
And if a DVD or Blu-ray set came with the movie, best transfer of that movie ever, and like tons of extra features, and like 6 commentaries and 4 documentaries and like a short film and 12 other things. Like came on like 6 discs just for this one movie.
Yeah.
And I'd pay whatever amount, I'd pay whatever amount I felt that was worth. Mm-hmm. However, if, a same company put an okay transfer of a movie by itself on the disc, and the only extra feature was a trailer, I'm not going to pay that same amount.
Sure.
Like, if I in all honesty, if I had 2 discs that were movie and they were the same quality of caliber of movie, and they both cost the same amount, and one movie had a shit ton of extra features on it, and the other one just had the trailers, fuck that disc with the trailers. I ain't buying it.
Sure.
That's kind of the way it is, and I feel like that's also kind of similar to the analogy you're going with.
Right. On the other hand, JBK, I do agree with you in that there's an idea where, this is so. What we were talking about last week is extra credits and Jim Sterling, basically, are the two sides of this argument. And Jim Sterling makes a very good argument as well, where he says that a lot of times these publishers will come out and just be like, well, the development costs are really expensive because gamers need all the best graphics in the world, and the things need to come out on a yearly basis, and they're going to require, that we have all the most expensive voice actors in the game and whatever. And that's just a lie. Like, that's just... we've seen so many. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is such a popular game. MOBAs never required cutting edge graphics. They never required sound. The celebrity voice actors. Fuck, man, Overwatch. There isn't a celebrity. There's no fucking Kiefer Sutherland in Overwatch. Like, it's a bunch of voice actors, professional voice actors.
Whether you consider them, high quality talent or not is up to you.
Right, but the argument, I understand the argument of saying that, like, the game industry has decided that, like, what makes a $60 AAA video game must be the most cutting edge graphics. It's got to have multiplayer. It's got to have these expansions. It's got to have a 12-hour story with professional, with a celebrity voice cast and blah, blah, blah. And I think that stuff like Devolver Digital, stuff like Crossing Souls or Ruiner, hell, I cut it out of the first part, but there was a trailer for the Persona 5 anime. Yeah. And the Persona 5 anime, like, specifically was like, from the franchise that sold over 2 million copies. And I'm like, that's not much for a modern video game, but they seemed like they were relatively happy with 2 million copies of Persona 5.
Again, I'll also bring it up every time we talk about this, Hellblade.
Yeah.
Ninja Bee or whatever the fuck they're called. Ninja
Theory.
Blade.
Ninja Theory?
Yeah, Ninja Theory.
But yeah, I feel like I take your point, Jimmy K. And the reason I wanted to go listen to it was because I do sympathize with good guy developers trying to match the expectation of what a video game should be today. The problem I have is the idea that is foisted upon us that what we all want is a game that looks like Battlefield 1, right? That if it wasn't using this incredibly detailed engine, that people wouldn't be interested in playing it, and I just don't think that's true because of things like PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, which quite frankly, I mean, doesn't even really look all that great even when you jack all the settings up, right?
Yeah.
It still is just okay looking, but there's a core of fun to it that people don't care how it looks. We're playing it because it's fun and new and interesting. It's kind of like I've been talking about this recently with movies as well, right? Where it's like you can load up a movie with just out of control, super flashy special effects. That doesn't make it good. And I'm more than willing to watch a movie that has medium special effects if it's got a really, really good story. I'm more than willing to overlook, because my priority is not how good it looks or how much production is in it. It's how fun is it. And that, yeah, I guess I'm go back, Jim McKay, and listen to that one. And I don't think that I'm, as far as the question of why are you letting developers off the hook, it's because to me, it's not the same across the board. I spent so much time on this podcast bitching about Battlefront 2 and Destiny and all their fuck-ups recently, and then out of the same breath saying that I can't wait for Yakuza 6, or there's a new Devolver Digital game, or hey, this Dark Souls thing looks kind of interesting, or like, ooh, what's this? Like it's not one or the other. It's not that video games are not worth $60, and it's not that they are worth $60. It depends on the game. If it's a 90-hour RPG like Persona 5 that was put together by a team with love and attention and they believe in their project, that's worth $60 to me, right? If it's CD Projekt Red, if it's The Witcher 3, right, and they put in all this time and work and or let's say even if it's a shorter game, as long as it's of a high enough quality, I think $60 is fine. It's just that what we keep getting a lot of times is games that are not worth $60 being sold to us for $60 or more. So, yeah, if a game company could make a game that was guaranteed, that I could know for a fact somehow was going to be fantastic, I'd be more than willing to spend more than $60.
And I also kind of feel like part of the problem here is that, video game companies aren't very transparent with where the money goes.
Yes.
With Hollywood, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you where their money goes. They'll tell you, like, this is how much we spent to make the movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is how much went to marketing. This is how much went to production. This is how much went to this. The actors and things like that. We can find all that out.
Yep.
Sometimes they don't share it, but more often than not, they will. It is public knowledge.
We don't even really know budgets for most video games.
Yeah, but for video games,
or sales
they
figures,
kind of hold on to that. Like the first time I think any company really was transparent about not so much how much money it cost to make the game, but more of how much money it made after it was released, was with Hellblade, where the company went, yeah, we spent this amount of money on making the game,
right?
And this is how much we got back, and this is how much we expected to get.
Yeah.
And they didn't even say what all of it specifically went to, but they were more transparent with that than they were than most companies were.
Yep. But before we move on, the one thing I did want to say as well, GBK, is, two things. One, as far as why are you letting them get away with this? Like, first off, the video game industry doesn't care what I say on the Rage Select podcast. Like, that's for years. For years, I have been telling people, don't fucking pre-order games. Wait for them to come out and read the reviews. Watch Let's Plays and make an informed decision, because if a game tanks, that's the best way to get a company's attention, is for a game to fucking just nosedive that they spent a lot of money on because people waited and they didn't fucking pre-order. They didn't fucking do. And then second, what you were just saying, I 100% believe that if we all banded together and said, you gotta fucking take back shit games. Like, if you buy a game and the game is shitty, I need to be able to return it. That would be a way to offset some of this, because if everybody bought Battlefield 2 and then returned it, well, gee whiz, that's really going to get EA and DICE's attention, right? But the fact that as a culture, that video games as a culture has been conditioned to not even think of the idea that returning a game is like returning a game to a retail store, that taking Metal Gear Survive back to Best Buy and being like, this is garbage, you give me my fucking money back. Like, I'm not paying you for crap. There's a certain... That idea seems like it's been lost because of all this hand-wringing about piracy and about, you just take it home and then beat it and then bring it back. And it's like, not if it's a good game. If it's a good game, you won't. Or you're going to have some people that'll do that. But chances are that most of those people aren't. The people that are looking to game the system like that are probably not going out buying brand new $60 day one games anyway. Or they're buying them and then selling them on Craigslist, or they're reselling them in a different way anyway. Anyway, sorry, you were going to say something before.
No, I was going to make a joke, but then we already moved past the point of that joke making any sense. So,
but yes, I think that if a company can demonstrate that they are made a game, I think The Witcher 3 is worth $80.
Yeah.
Especially if you add in the expansions, right? That's a hell of a game. On the other hand, Metal Gear Survive was only $40, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. I mean, if it's okay, if it's not just like, if it doesn't delete my hard drive, I mean, $40? And then on the other hand of the spectrum, fucking Crossing Souls was $20, and that game is fucking great. Ruiner was $20. Absolver was like $30, and you get all this great stuff. So I don't know.
Devolver Digital really is the best.
We live in such a great time where, like, if you don't want to fuck around with dumbass Konami and Metal Gear Survive, like, you can just go fucking play Absolver. You could go play any number of every week on the PlayStation. There's a bunch of games. This week, what have I got? We can't even fit all these on the show. Symmetry, Fair, The Station, like just all of these, The Fall Part 2, like all these indie games that are just amazing. And that's not even going down the fucking Steam rabbit hole. Anyway, hope that made sense, Jimmy K. Let's say RJ writes in and says, "Hey Jeff and John, so recently I picked up Grand Theft Auto 5 in the recent Steam sale and noticed that overall it has mixed reviews, with a lot of negative reviews being the most upvoted. I grabbed the game because I finally have a good PC, and I think the story hits it out of the park as far as game narratives go. However, it seems like every one of the negative reviews is because of the current state of the online mode. So my question is, do you think it's fair to give a game negative reviews to the point of bringing down its overall score just because of one mode that you don't even have to play if you don't want to? Thanks a ton, and keep up all the great work from RJ."
I apologize, I missed the part. What was the game he's talking about?
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems that the negative reviews on Steam are for the GTA Online, for the state of GTA Online.
Well, so, and what I'll say in regards to that is it's kind of, that's also, it depends on the game. Because, like, for example, and I actually do think for Grand Theft Auto 5, it's possible that because the online mode has actually become more important than the single player mode. GTA Online is actually, they've actually made it more important.
Yeah.
I would even argue Call of Duty. No one gives a shit about the story mode in Call of Duty.
I do.
I know you do, but I'm just saying, no one gives a shit. Sure. The reason people buy Call of Duty is to play it online. If a Call of Duty's online mode sucks, then that game's done.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing. There's nothing that can save that game.
Sure.
Doesn't matter how good the story mode is, because no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Or at least people aren't willing to shell out $60 for a 4 hour
So,
story.
I mean, in some ways, yes, I agree that, I do think that those reviews are justified.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also agree that that's not true across the board. Like, for Grand Theft Auto, though, going back to it, Grand Theft Auto was a weird case where it didn't have the online mode when it first came out, and the story mode...
Right.
It's, despite what I feel about it, the story mode is highly acclaimed. A lot of people love it.
I think it was great.
Yeah, a lot of people love it. Despite what, and I didn't even think it was bad. It just wasn't what I wanted to play.
No, you didn't want to play Trevor, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It just went to a place that I'm like, you know what? Nope, I'm done.
Sure.
I don't need this in my life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even bad. Like, I don't even think the game sucks. I think the game's actually pretty good. Like, I actually even played the GTA Online for a little bit at a friend's house once, and it wasn't bad. It was good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where that one's a weird case because the online mode came later and they've turned it into such a focal point for the game now. Like, in all honesty, the reason that game is as popular as it is, like, if you go to GameStop and try to buy it, it's like $49 still.
I can see it.
Like,
I can see it.
The Xbox 360 version is still like $49.
I can see it.
Like it's an expensive game.
Yeah.
Because people, it's high demand because people want that GTA Online experience and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if that's really an answer or anything, but that's
no. So I'm gonna lay it out. I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here. I'm gonna lay it out both ways, right?
Yeah.
So on the one hand, RJ, here's where I agree with you. Steam reviews, Metacritic reviews, any place where people are, and especially Steam reviews. I'm sorry, PC people, because I'm going to get ready to get up on my high horse about this again. But like, man, you have to read those Steam reviews because it's just like thumbs down, frame rate capped, or like it crashed when I booted it up, thumbs down, refunded, and it's like, oh well, did you try to fix it? Did you update your drivers? Did you do? Like, I don't know why the game crashed. I don't know if it's a buggy mess or if you're bad at computer. Right? Just because you're on Steam doesn't mean that you're some kind of fucking technomancer whiz kid, right? Maybe you need to update your drivers. Maybe you needed to reinstall blah, blah, blah. Maybe there was a problem.
My computer couldn't run it because you didn't have meet the specs.
Right, right. Anybody on Steam can can thumbs down a thing for whatever. You can thumbs down it for the most ridiculous of reasons or the best of reasons. It's one of the reasons why the Steam voting system, well, first off, I found the Steam voting system to be wholly inadequate because basically it's thumbs up or thumbs down. And in I've read plenty of thumbs down reviews where people are like, this would have they would have given it a neutral rating, but the only options were yes or no. And so they're like, well, for the most part, I had fun with this game, but it was frustrating at the end of Act 3, and I didn't ever really finish it, so thumbs down. And it's like, well, and this is the problem that you get where there is no...
Or I bought this because I heard this, I played it, it's a fucking pixel game, I hate pixel games, thumbs down.
Yeah. Is that there's no qualification for the rating. It's like on Metacritic, right? Where you see the thing on Metacritic and it's just like, this is some SJW garbage, 0. Like, that's an out of 10 scale, right? People are just like 0. Cloverfield Paradox. People are giving Cloverfield Paradox a 0. This is garbage, 0.
Wasn't that insulting?
And I was like,
it's worth at least out of 10, of maybe like 6.
3, 4? I mean, hell, even if you didn't like it, like a 0, that's the worst movie you've ever seen is a 0. But I feel like people kind of get off on the ability to express themselves that way, and so they very much become this kind of armchair arbiters of what is good and what is not. So in some cases, I feel like with something like Grand Theft Auto 5, there's such a big story, and then the online is its own mode, that they should divide the two.
Yeah.
I've also had the idea in the past of classifying your rating, where you're like thumbs down, and then a subheading, technical. This game ran like garbage on my fucking TI 1090, blah, 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 right? Like, okay, so then I can say, like, well, how does this game fare? You can say mostly positive, mostly negative, but if you could just give a little bit more information. Because the problem now is that Steam is surfacing games to the front page based on that rating. So, like, the new tab is now you have to have a certain number of mostly thumbs up votes to get onto that page, or at least a certain number of actual votes. So I totally understand that it can sometimes seem like a total shit show. Now, the flip side of that is that, again, this kind of goes back to the theme that we've been talking about, is people have so few ways to actually express their dissatisfaction with a game to a developer in a way, because let's be honest, most developers don't listen and don't care. Some do, but a lot of them don't. But in a lot of ways, the only way to get any of these developers to listen is to review bomb them until they fucking pay attention. Because if your brand new game is going to be getting mostly negative on Steam, then the company may actually patch in a patch for whatever it is that you have a problem with.
Or just pull the game off of Steam and refund everyone's money.
Or do that.
In the case of, like, Batman.
Yeah, or do that. But I feel like if there was a way, again, I think that the return system on Steam helps quite a bit. But to be honest, RJ, this is just what happens when you get. It's like a comment section, right? This is what happens when you just open the floodgates. Is you're going to get people who have a standard. I've seen people thumbs down a game because it was 8 hours, because the game lasted for 8 hours. Like, no game should last for less than 14 hours. So that thumbs down. Doesn't matter how much it costs. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter whether it's got microtransactions or not, or blah, 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 blah. Just like games should not be less than 12 hours, thumbs down. And it's like, well, that doesn't help, you know. So I got to say that at least on Steam, read the reviews. And to be honest, as much as I don't like it a lot of times, you can go to Metacritic, and at least Metacritic splits their rankings between
user reviews and critical review,
critical
like actual
reviews.
professional critic reviews.
Right. So I always say that, like, if the user review and the critic reviews are within like a point or two of each other, you probably got a pretty solid bet going on there. If they're really fluctuated weirdly in one direction or the other, you might have to go in and kind of read some of the reviews to see what the problem is, what's causing them to have those negative reviews. But reviews in general, I mean, it's reviews in general too, is like, it's so goddamn subjective.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan writes in and says, greetings once again, Jeff and John. Ryan here with another question for you guys to discuss. When it comes to geek culture and fandoms, actually, you know what? I just want to say real fast here. I feel like a lot of these questions that we're getting this week are kind of a little repeaty, but, you know, never hurts
fine.
every so often to go back and re-examine stuff. That's not a dig at you, Ryan. When it comes to geek culture and fandoms, there is a wide range in which people could be invested in something from a casual interest to devout worship of the series. After visiting several forums, people are still debating The Last Jedi, and but on one particular thread, someone made a valid point. Some of these people complaining aren't fans, they're fanatics. So fanatical in their beliefs, there's no way to reason with them or to see the other side of the argument. In all your years of experience, have you encountered any other examples of fanatics ruining a fandom or a series? Thanks in advance for reading this question. Keep up the great work, Ryan.
I've got an answer.
Yeah.
And people are going to hate me for saying it.
Okay.
Brown coats. I love Firefly, but
Yeah.
fuck you. You ruined that show for me.
Yeah.
You people fucking ruined that show for me.
To be honest,
I thought we had a good series, that what we got was great. I thought we got a good movie, and then you guys just wouldn't fucking let it go. I hope they never fucking do anything else with Firefly, because fuck you.
wow. Yeah, John's very angry.
Yeah, no, because I can't watch that show anymore because brown coat people and their fanaticism fucking ruined it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
It's
just the demands to bring it back?
Yeah, demand. It's like, okay, guys, it's gone.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
Everybody's too old now.
Yeah,
Like,
it's never gonna happen. Let it go.
yeah.
You know.
I don't know, John. Netflix has been bringing back an awful lot of bullshit recently. You say that, and next week it's going to be Netflix announces like the return of Firefly. I mean, what the fuck's Summer Glau doing? She's not doing anything. Come on. Mal got killed, and they're all back in ship. To answer your question, Ryan, in all your years of experience, have you encountered any examples of fanatics ruining a fandom or a series? Yes.
Yeah.
My answer is yes. And my example is all of them. Everything. If you talk to somebody who's super into anything, and that includes fucking me.
No, yeah, it includes me too.
Yeah, they will ruin it for you. I've been trying to get Jason to play Bloodborne for years, and I know he's not going to. I know that I shouldn't even be talking with him about it because it's irritating him. I can't help myself. You know what? Let's just go down the board. Let's just pick everything. Every single thing in the world has people that will ruin it for you. Anime, top to bottom. Every franchise, every anime that's ever been made has adherents that are so goddamn diehard. They feel so strongly about it. And they will brook no criticism. They will brook no bad word being said about it.
Comics are the same way.
Oh, comic books? Hell yeah. The fucking gatekeeping that we've seen happen with people is the people that are just like fanatical about one particular type of comic. I'm like that about fucking Superman. Like, I am that guy when it comes to Superman. They're just like, you just don't fucking understand. If you understood Superman, you would understand why Man of Steel is a kick in the nuts to every fan of Superman who's ever lived on this entire... And it's just like, I hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Video games? Oh, fuck video games. Like, pick any franchise out there. Call of Duty? Goddamn, so many people in the multiplayer calling you names, talking about your mother, fucking,
But yeah,
Dark Souls. God,
there are some fanatics within certain fandoms that can kill a thing for me. Now, mind you, there are many franchises that I am probably also a fanatic for. Like right now, I am really into. Like I said, I'm into Power Rangers. I really like Power Rangers. I don't think I'm on the problem. I'm like, hey, Power Rangers is cool.
Yeah.
I'm really into. Actually, I know another one.
Yeah.
I just thought of another one.
Yeah.
So right now, I am really digging, like, music wise. One of the things I've gotten really into is Brendan Small's Galactatron.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which, if you're not familiar with who Brendan Small is, he's the guy who did Death Clock, Metalocalypse,
and home movies.
But I'm just saying, most people, if you say Metalocalypse, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he basically, when at one point during that, he couldn't do an album, so he did his own thing called Galactatron, Galacticon, because it paid for the studio and he'd already paid all the people who were going to be involved.
Okay.
With his own money, so he's just like, fuck it, I'll do it. I was just going to reimburse myself with the money they were going to give me instead. I'll just release it myself and whatever. Mm-hmm. Made a really good album. It was actually really good. I really liked it. And then when Metalocalypse ended, he made Galacticon 2.
Okay.
Which just came out last year. They actually, surprisingly enough, today released a music video / short film for one of the songs from the new album that's actually pretty badass.
Okay.
I'd recommend going to watch it. But fuck Death Clock fans. Because fuck them.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, sadly, they did not get the ending that they wanted for Metalocalypse.
Right. It
didn't have the ending. And they can't let that go.
Sure.
To the point of that, if you try to like, oh man, this album, it's a concept album, so it's telling a story. Let's try to figure out what the story is. Well, it's clearly the ending of Death Clock.
Oh, yeah.
They just can't call it Death Clock, so they called it Galacticon. So, but it's clearly that's what it is. And if you think differently, you're wrong. And fuck you.
Yeah.
And it's like, go fuck yourself.
Yep. Yeah, it's everything. It's everything everywhere all the time. I
still love that album though.
The main thing is just like, if you're really into a thing, I as I've said before, this is a good point to bring back up again, Ryan. I totally understand when you love a thing a lot and then that thing gets shat on by other people, that it can make you really defensive about that thing.
Yeah.
Or if you feel that, like, if you like a thing a lot and then you feel that the creators of that thing have gone in a direction that you didn't like, and so you like, why is Rick and Morty season 3 is garbage? Rick is just fucking stupid now, and blah blah blah, whatever, like that you get upset at it because you feel very passionately about it. I think that I have gone through enough both disappointment and getting excited about a thing only to be let down in my life that I have personally determined that I let what I want to get into slow burn me into a thing, and that I try to keep my expectations under control so as to be pleasantly surprised instead of bitterly disappointed because I built up this thing to be the greatest game. It's going to be the best. Death Stranding is going to be the best game that's ever occurred. I don't know. Death Stranding could be garbage, right?
Yeah.
I played, I got things to say about Metal Gear Solid 5, about Metal Gear Solid 4, about Buktai. I don't really care about Buktai that much. Like, all right, whatever. Yeah. But yes, the answer is that every single thing in the entire world, you can find somebody that's irritating about their fandom and will scream at you about it. As much as I've wanted to over the years, I don't think I'll ever watch Steven Universe because I'm just like, nah, I don't want to. No, that fandom is just too. But anyway, yep. Let's see. This next one comes in from Julio. Julio says, "Hey, Jeff and John, what are some of your favorite and least favorite main character archetypes?" My favorite seems to be badass, fight-ready protagonists such as Dante from DMC, Majima from Yakuza, and Io Fleming from Gundam Thunderbolt. My least favorite is adorable, awkward hero, a.k.a. Noctis, gone from Hunter x Hunter, and Shinji from Evangelion. So you guys' favorite and least favorite main character archetypes? Thanks for answering, Julio.
What's funny?
What do you like in a main character, John?
You know what's funny?
Tell me about it.
Most of my favorite characters, I'm not talking about just main characters, most of my favorite characters, and I actually realized this a long time ago, in any mediums, is actually not the main character. It's usually like the supporting character that's kind of like the friend, but as you started off as an enemy, became the good guy, kind of like Wolfwood in Trigun, or Sanosuke in Rurouni Kenshin, even Vegeta in Dragon Ball, and stuff like that. Like, I tend to like those characters. I also, if it's a group of characters, like if it's a bunch of characters like Power Rangers or Ninja Turtles or whatever, it's usually the nerdy character that I like.
Yeah, me too.
That's just like, I'm a fan. Donatello is my favorite turtle. Always has been, always will be.
Yep.
Growing up, before, obviously before the Green Ranger came around and Power Rangers, Billy the Blue Ranger was my favorite Power Ranger because I like the color blue, and he was the smart one. He was the one that knew shit. And then Green Ranger came out, and the thing is, my favorite color is green. So immediately he became my favorite Ranger.
Yeah. Let's see. I've gotten a little bit tired of the kind of smartest guy in the room trope. Basically any Robert Downey Jr. character over the last 5 years. I do like characters with a certain amount of morality to them. That's why I like Superman so much, and a certain amount of kind of like unbreakable code kind of stuff. I don't know. It's kind of interesting because I've been trying to run through the character archetypes, and like, the awkward adorable hero, like that he's talking about in this email. Like Dante from Devil May Cry kind of fits into that. Like, not Dante from DMC, but like Japanese Dante is kind of a dork. And so I don't know. It's like I could keep thinking of, like, I like I just saying, smartest guy in the room has started to get on my nerves a little bit, mostly because of Batman, mostly because it's always fucking like, it's Batman. He just knows everything. He's just Batman. He knows everything. But then I like, L in Death Note, right? Like, I like the super smart, character in that franchise. I don't know that I have a nailed down. Like, I think that any of those character archetypes can be done well. Yeah. Like, for example, the irritating character, right? Like the real, just kind of like the one that's there to just be like, meh. Like in Crossing Souls, it's the little brother who's just like, fuck you. But then we were playing Bayonetta and like the Joe Pesci guy at the beginning, and I'm like, but that guy's great. I love him. He's just like, oh no, oh my god, it's my birthday. Fuck. Enzo or whatever. Just all he's doing is just running around going and I'm like, no, that guy's great. So, I mean, there's a stoic badass trope which can be stupid or can be good. I think that the only thing that I don't like, I mean, a lot of it is just execution. Is you can pick any one of these character tropes, and if they're executed well, then I like them, and if they're executed poorly, then I'm just like, like there's nothing wrong with the badass new guy learning the trade, but I didn't like Raiden in Metal Gear 2 because I wanted the grizzled old veteran archetype to play through the game with, not the new guy, right? Which is not to say that like Metal Gear Rising isn't fun when you've got him and he's got his own thing going on, but then like so I don't know that I can think of one that I just universally hate. Yeah, that every time that
I can't think of any that I would universally hate.
Bring that up, then I'm just like, oh no, it's the girl. No, I mean like no. The problem is that every time I come up with one, I could just think of an example where somebody wrote that character very well.
I do like I'm not really so much on like, the smartest guy in the room who is never wrong and is always like 12 steps ahead of everybody. Yeah. But at the same time, there is something to be said about the smart character who's just knowledgeably very smart, but he's
socially awkward.
Maybe socially awkward or whatever. Again, one of my favorite TV shows is The Pretender. Right. Literally, it's a dude who reads a book and knows how to do what's in the book perfectly. Yeah. And every episode is him trying to stay one step ahead of this organization that's trying to capture him and force him to do weird shit. Yeah. With his abilities. So there's again, he's a smart character. He knows how to do all these great things, but he's also a slightly socially awkward. Mm-hmm. Because he's not been out in the real world. He's a little bit of a naivete or naivety.
Naivete?
Yeah, naivete. I was thinking how to say that word. I'm not smart.
Did you say
clearly?
Did you say Neopet?
No.
At first there?
No.
It's a bit of a Neopet.
Yeah.
He's a little Yu-Gi-Oh.
But yeah. So I mean, there's part of that too. I mean, but yeah, I tend to like smart characters.
Yeah.
But maybe that are socially awkward or they're brainy smart, but they're not necessarily know how to think 10 steps ahead of someone in a fight. It's more of a I just happen to be smart, but I'm also in this situation.
I don't think I have an answer for this one.
Yeah.
I think that every trope that I can think of an example where somebody did that trope well.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, well that was so,
I can agree with that.
I just don't have any that universally go there. Sorry, Julio, but hopefully you got a little something out of that. A couple more here. Marikas writes in and says, hey, Jeff and John, Marika's here with another question. Since Sucker Punch has announced Ghost of Tsushima, the idea of a new Infamous game anytime soon has died. So I wanted to know, if you did an Infamous sequel, what would you add story-wise and power-wise? Keep the good work and enjoy your lives, Marikas.
I don't know.
I can think of a couple things. Let's see. The power getting in Infamous, is that like it was an experiment? Or no, it's that people randomly developed powers, right?
And they were usually elemental based in some way.
Well, let's see. In the first one, was it Cole?
Yeah, well, Cole had fire and ice powers.
I
And
thought
electricity.
it was all electricity.
Yeah, well, it was electricity in the first one. The second one added fire and ice powers.
Okay.
And then the third one, it was smoke and neon.
Yeah, the second son had basically granite, neon, smoke, and then like electronics.
Yeah.
Like video game, kind of.
Yeah, so it was all
urban, very kind of urban. But
yeah, I mean, it was all like elemental powers in some way, shape, or form. But
I can think of a few things. One would definitely be how about you jump back to the 1970s to like the first person who developed these powers, right? Or like
that was Cole.
Oh, okay.
That was the whole thing, is that he was.
Okay, well, fuck, that doesn't work then. Maybe jump forward in the future then, and like where the superpowers are like integrated into society. Oh, dude, here's one for you. Maybe like jump into the future where superpowers are integrated into society, and then make your game about like a power style cop that is trying like not to use their superpowers but has to police a bunch of like superpowered yahoos. That'd be interesting.
I would also say, going along your first idea, there's actually is an element to that, because the thing is, in the first game, I don't know how much you remember about the first game, there is time travel involved in that. Spoiler, the villain of the game is Cole McGrath from the future. Right.
Yeah, I remember that now.
So there is some time travel. Matter of fact, he's actually the one that causes the accident that gives Cole his powers.
Interesting.
So I would almost be interested if you got to see like another timeline or something where someone from that timeline where the evil Cole McGrath went back to the first one, where someone tried to stop him but accidentally went further back in time and caused powers to happen much sooner.
Okay.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, something they did such a good job in Second Son that, I mean, just a different biome.
Yeah, like do a different city.
Yeah.
Because the first one was kind of just a cityscape. The second one had a little bit of a Louisiana.
It was a New Orleans style,
kind of thing. And then Seattle
for Second Son. Yeah.
Let's do California. Let's do fucking
Austin,
Wisconsin.
Texas. Put a set a game in Austin, Texas. Come on. You can do it. Set a game in Austin. Or Houston. Or Dallas. I don't know. Somewhere that's not L.A. or New York. Chicago. We got that in hacker game, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
What was that? Not Infamous.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs. There you go. Thank you. Brain wouldn't catch up to that. But yeah, and then I don't know if you could use you could expand on the kind of mythology of like the powers come from the things that are around, right? So you have different powers. I'd actually be kind of interested if you had like a Grand Theft Auto style map, like for Infamous, where you had a large open world, but because your powers are based on the things that are around you, maybe your power set changes between different parts on the map, right? So like if you're in a dense urban center, then you've got like granite powers, right? But then if you kind of wander towards the outskirts, you get like earth powers, or you kind of see what I'm saying, where you just pick up stuff from the individual environment. I don't know. I mean, I think again, Infamous Second Son is woefully underrated in my opinion. It's a very, very good game, and especially the prequel with the lady. Because the neon, man, on the PlayStation just looks so good.
Yeah,
it looks very good looking game. All right. Let's see. We got one more question coming in this week, and this one is a hypothetical. I haven't read through this yet. I don't want to get the jump. And this one is from no signature. So I'm going to call you C. C writes in and says, "Hey, Jeff and John, you guys are super funny. Quick questions. Here's a hypothetical you may enjoy. Sorry if it's long." Okay, I'm just going to read this, and then we can kind of try to figure it out.
Okay.
For $1 million, you get to four at Walmart and GameStop. 40 hours a week, alternating jobs every month. You get to retire in December 20th of 2028, and you get full benefits. You get all Sundays off plus every Wednesday. You get paid for the hours that you work tax-free. The Walmart job is a cashier and worker of customer service. The GameStop job, you get to be the manager of the store, but your district manager is really pushy about pre-orders and sales. So I guess this is like you have to work for the next 10 years at alternating between Walmart and GameStop, and at the end you get $1 million?
I guess.
You can only get fired for gross misconduct, stealing, hitting, having sex at work, etc. Also, random, but for an extra $500,000 once a year until 2028, you have to become a random non-lethal spider. Also, you don't get paid the $1 million until 2028. Would you take that deal?
No.
Also, I don't like to see you and Jason on camera. Not you guys are ugly. I'm just disappointed you guys don't look exactly like your puppets. Whenever you guys are playing, I pretend it's actual puppets playing, not real humans. What do you think about the new? And also, one last thing: what do you think about the new TV show Final Space? Okay, so let's roll down here. Alternating between Walmart and GameStop, and you get Wednesdays and Sundays off for 10 years, and then you get $1 million.
No.
I don't think I would. No, I don't think I would take that. That's not enough.
And also, you wouldn't get the $1 million until the 10 years have
until
passed.
the 10 years are up. So yeah, I would technically be 50 by that point.
Yeah, no.
Who knows? I could probably And let's see.
Also, I don't like having split days off, so I don't care what the promise is. You split days off? No.
It sucks. It really sucks because you just don't get time. And the show Final Space, have you ever heard of this show before? I've never heard of it.
Don't know what that is.
This is something about some kind of TBS show with space in it. I have never heard of this show.
Is it a cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like kind of, I don't know. I mean, who knows? It might be good. It kind of looks a little like Rick and Morty-ish, but yeah, never watched it. Couldn't say.
Yeah, couldn't say.
So, all right, and that's it. That's our show. So yeah, get your questions in, and we will answer them. Mail@ragesight.com is the email address, and have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Later.